Hello, welcome to this episode of Small Biz Catalyst. This is not a regular episode, it's actually one of our holiday episodes. And on this episode, we're actually celebrating our guests from the top 20 episodes. We'd like to share quotes, advice, and some of the nuggets and wisdom that they provided during their time on the podcast. We'll also reflect on all the episodes of Small Biz Catalysts to date. Thank you for joining us, and stay tuned for the rich nuggets you're going to get today.
So first of all, you want to make sure you are really a fit for the program that you're working on. People don't answer all of the questions, and we have to have that. We have a judging committee. There are always at least 3 people that judge each grant application. So as they're going through, if they can't find what we asked for, they automatically become ineligible. So we don't want that because we know it takes time to fill out a grant application. And then, of course, let us know what the grant funding is going to be used for. What is your project? What it's going to be? And if somebody is giving a $5,000 grant, make sure you ask for $5,000. For $4,999 because it will be rejected.
There's a couple of different ways that EDOs can get engaged. Number one, obviously, we hope that others will come in and apply to be host organizations in the future for future cohorts of ERC. So currently we have 65 host organizations and 65 fellows that have been matched up in places across the United States. Our hope and goal is that we have multiple cohorts and obviously the alumni network that's created as a result. And so there's opportunities for EDOs in the future to apply to host a fellow itself. And that is not a small thing. There's a specific accelerator program that every host goes through to identify what are the opportunities in those places, what are the needs, and certainly what are their ideas about how they might utilize a fellow and the capacity that they help to build. The other piece is taking the lessons that we're learning and pulling out. We're going to do some storytelling around this. We're going to do some toolkits and resources for EDOs to be able to take and use. So even if you're not a host organization, you're still going to be able to benefit from this program. Learn from what's happening across the 65 fellows and those hosts.
The small businesses in the area may not know what's available to them. I mean, they may not know that there's this incentive package. Like, for example, the city of DeSoto, they have I know of 2 cities, as a matter of fact, that have some type of incentive where it's a facade enhancement, grant. So if you're a small business and maybe you've had that, the outside of your business doesn't look that great and you need to enhance it, there's grants, there's matching grants, there's incentives for you. And most people just don't know about that. And while some of these local cities and economic developments just don't do a good job of letting people know. When I say small business, I'm focusing on like your Main Street type business, your mom and pop, maybe under 100 type employees, right? I would say, and for them to be sustainable and to ensure more of a long-term impact, it boils down to funding. It boils down to money. I know access to capital is a challenge for women and minorities, but that's what's going to help a business scale and grow, is being able to get access to capital, whether it's for working capital, to purchase new inventory or supplies, to expand the business. So in order to get access to that funding, you got to keep good cash flow. You got to manage your cash flow. You got to maintain good company credit and as well as personal credit.
One thing I always say is that the primary responsibility of every business owner is to be organized. It's not to make money. It's not to grow the biggest, baddest business and so on and so forth. It's actually to be organized. And why do I say organized over everything else? It's because you can't get to those everything else if you are not organized.
I was just reading about Martha Stewart. Martha Stewart and Snoop were just at the Olympics having a good old time, right? What I didn't know was that Martha Stewart didn't even have a cookbook out until she was 50 years old. 50. Martha Stewart didn't have a TV show, international bestseller, till she was 60 years old. And so people look at someone like her and it's like, oh yeah, look, she's just larger than life. But this is in the later half of her life that happened. And that's for so many people. You look at somebody like Sam Jackson. Sam Jackson didn't start getting major roles into a movie until he was 40s, 50 years old. I think oftentimes people don't realize that sometimes for some people's lives things happen early, for some people's lives things happen late. But just remember, it's never too late for your season to come.
I think I'll probably advise them to start from single family, honestly, because it's like a step. If you have the funds, you don't have to move out of your house. You can just buy a single family. When you buy your primary home, either you get a FHA loan, you can put 3.5% down, or you do conventional, you put 20% down. But when you are buying your own, maybe use your LLC or use your own name to buy your first investment property, you're probably going to drop 20% down because it's a business property. So when you're doing that with a conventional loan, I think it's easier just to buy a single family to start with. When you learn how to manage one or two single family, you can move to the next one. Maybe buy a duplex, maybe buy a triplex or a fourplex. Now, the good thing is, either you buy a single family, duplex, triplex, or fourplex, they are all under the same, they're classified under the same kind of home, single family homes. So whatever you can do because of the 20% down, the more the property you want to buy, the value, the more the 20% you have to bring to the table.
Yeah, probably the most important resource that we need to make sure that entrepreneurs have is the access to connections and networks. When it comes down to it, if we don't have a community that supports and holds up entrepreneurs and gives them access to each other, peer learning, gives them access to the capital, technical assistance, and other things that they need. If we don't create a community that is a place we want to live and grow and be a part of, then that one resource alone can drive or lose the vitality of a single community, whether it's a rural town of 5,000 or an urban city of 500,000. And over the course of the last 20 years, we have spent so much time and effort building out models to be able to support entrepreneurs. And across the board, Andy Stoll and others who are really thought leaders in this space will say, it's really about connections. It's about how do we connect as deeply and intimately with one another as we can to help start, grow, and experience the kinds of entrepreneurial activity that's possible in a community.
You have to build some relationships. Every culture is different. And, some cultures may not even want to do business with you till potentially you come and meet them in person. Especially any of the Hispanic cultures, they want to have a relationship with you. They want you to know their family. They're going to invite you to their house to have dinner with them. They want to have a relationship before they do business. Now, other cultures are like, okay, we're just going to do business. I don't even have to basically know who you are. So, you need to build some relationships. And you can do that through attending a trade show or a trade event in another country and just seeing what's out there. Many countries have industry organizations that you could look at and join related to you, depending upon your industry. Like maybe there's a hardwood industry or there's a manufacturing industry for your part for like aerospace or, technology, or maybe you're making something for a car or whatever it is. You need to develop those relationships with people that you want to do business with.
I would say the lessons that I've learned is that networking is key. Speaking up for what you believe in and being open to new things and being ready to pivot at any moment. Those are some things I've learned. I think that during COVID, I had a very pivotal moment where I had to stop having packer parties in person because we just couldn't do that anymore. And that turned to me creating an idea of virtual packing parties, which actually being a great opportunity to engage with youth worldwide. And we've been able to do more blessing bags than we've ever been able to, but with doing them in person, incorporating young people from all across the world. So I would say really, those are the things that I've learned over the years, being a teen entrepreneur and networking and having to talk to people even when you're uncomfortable.